Hey guys, Billy here with another voiceover for a dungeon. This time I'm going to be doing Halls of Atonement. The reason I'm doing this one is because this is one of the most recent dungeons I've done. I could do different dungeons, but like my item level and my conduits are increasing, so I thought it'd be more appropriate to do a dungeon that I've done more recently. And I did a lot of mists, and I've already done mists before, so I'm just gonna do a new dungeon and one that I've done more recently. So this one is Halls, and it's as soon as Fortified starts kicking off, I'll start to do more and more other dungeons. So expect more to come, right? So I'll start off with the Halls of Atonement plus 15. This is a group of this is kind of a pug group, but I was in voice with them. I have Nikolai. He's the only one who's not a pug. He's my friend. Everyone else is kind of a pug in this group, but we're in voice, so we're kind of communicating. We're talking, right? So this is my gear. I upgraded my fevered incantation to 225, and these are my talents and conduits up here. I'm using Discipline of the Grove as my second conduit, and I'm playing Dreamweaver. So this week, Dreamweaver gets a second Potency Conduit. So it's very beneficial to swap the Dreamweaver this week for Fire Mages. We'll start the key off, right? First pull, you're gonna Lust and Combust, Mirror's Image, and Potion. All four of those. So yeah, make sure, remember, always make sure when you do a first pull, Mirror's Image, you Potion. Those are two important things. You're gonna Combust. So Mirror's Image, Potion, and so do that Combust, right? Do your normal AoE Combust. I'm playing Discipline of the Grove, so I actually get a lot more. If you're playing Discipline of the Grove, you actually get a lot more Fire Blasts. Also, we're playing with the Spiteful affix, so when mobs die, there's little fixating mobs, these little shades that come when you die. These mobs, they slowly die over time. So if you see them going below 30%, you could potentially look for a Scorch. Playing the talent Searing Touch, you can get Scorches below mobs 30%. So yeah, right here, we're just gonna get into melee. We're gonna power, and we're gonna be hardcasting Dragon's Breath, hardcasting Flame Strike. Excuse me, hardcasting Flame Strike. And using Dragon's Breath on cooldown, right? There we Dragon's Breath, and we're hardcasting. We see this mob hits 30%. So after this hardcast Flame Strike, we're gonna start Scorched Flame Striking. I Frost Nova there. Try to keep it in some flame patches, but it was not. It didn't work that well. So right here, just scorching on low targets. My combust is coming up right now, but I'm gonna hold it for whatever he pulls next. I will combust that because these shades, they actually, if you don't do any damage to them, they actually kill themselves over time. You don't actually have to do damage to them, but in this pack, there's a real mob up still. This mob's up still, so we're gonna be hitting it. Yeah, so next pull, we're gonna be combusting it. But I think in this pull, if he pulls 3, like no matter what pull he pulls, you're combusting it, right? Because if you look at your percent, 13%, Prideful is coming soon, right? So no matter what, you're combusting. Right here, I actually, if you want to be very, very helpful to your tank, and he pulls 2 casters, right, the 2 obliterators, you want to be, like, notice how I see the farthest mob as a caster, I put my mouse over it, and I'm going to kick it in to help my tank. I kick it in, help my tank get in, group all the mobs. I press Mirror's Image before this. It's AoE combust because Mirror's Image protects you from aggro. So naturally, you should do that. So, yeah, normal combust, Dragon's Breath at the end, Rune of Power when you're done. You see a mob that is below 30%. Scorch time. I got a curse spell there, but we have a shaman in our group. So I will, if there's a healer in our group, I will wait to see if he dispels it. If not, I will dispel it. So yeah, we're just So this is Prideful. So this means I don't have much damage for this Prideful. I just combusted that pack. So I'm just going to be doing a normal single target, right? And this Prideful will recharge your combust. Also, be wary of when the shades from Spiteful drop during Prideful. They can walk over to you and melee you, and if it melees you during Prideful, it'll probably kill you. So yeah, so I have Combust next pull. This is looking a little bit scary. We barely made that one actually. This is Grevious. Grevious is actually very hard. So we got Prideful. I actually told my tank, I was like, if you want to, because I'm in voice with this tank, right? This is the first time playing with this tank. If you want to, pull the 4-pack, and he does. Because I say, yo, I have pretty big damage. I have alter time as well. So I think it's possible. Because I imagine the Hunter has cooldowns as well, right? So yeah, what I do, and the first thing I do in this pack is you put this Collector on focus, because he's the only caster, right? So you put him on focus, you blink into melee. You want to be in melee for the first combust because 15 power damage, right? So I do my combust. As soon as I see that this mob, the Shard, will cast his like Quaking Tantrum ability, I will alter time so that he doesn't really need to heal me. This is actually kind of hard healing with Grevious. So he shouldn't need to heal me, but right there I altered a full. And this means the next time that the mob... Okay, so first off, Shades spawn. So when I see a Shade, I'm going to try to use those as Scorch targets. Yeah, once he casts Thrash one more time here, he's casting Thrash, I'm going to blink out of range, right? You can actually outrange this ability by 38 yards. This number right here is an add-on called Range Display, and it shows my current target of how far I am from them. So this means I'm 38 yards from them. If it's 30 yards, it means that I am outranging the mechanic. I'm not taking damage from it. It's actually, on the first one, I recommend you should stay in and alter time. Mirror's Image as well if you have it. Alter time so that you can do your damage, and then when the next one comes, you should... when the next one comes, you should outrange it. Yeah, so my combust is coming up here. It is on a 15-second cooldown, so I'm just gonna... Because this pack might not live long, I actually start the pack into shifting power so that I can get my combust back. And then I just combust. I wanted to make sure that, you know, I have combust at the start of the pull, and I'm putting it on cooldown. So that's why I instantly shifting powered. Right there, same thing. I did alter time, so it looked like I got low, but I actually didn't. This pull is actually very, very hard because there's a lot of casters. There's actually 3 casters in this pack, and I'm pretty sure we wiped because of missed kicks. We actually wipe, but we had some deaths because of missed kicks. So it happens. But like I said, when this guy is casting Thrash, you can outrange it, and he stands still, so you can help. You can help, right? So yeah, help the spell. He's casting Thrash. I see that I blink out of range. I think I block off my Mirror's Image. I Mirror's Image and block off my Grievous, so that I do not, you know, cauterize or use my Night Fate cauterize, right? So I'm pretty sure the next pack is Prideful, right? So I'm just gonna use my combust on cooldown. It just comes up, right? It's a 2-pack. I'm just gonna use my combust. I'm just gonna do a single target combust. Whenever I Phoenix Flames on 2 targets, because these have such low HP, I'm going to switch targets. Except in this case, I got a Sinful Revelation proc. So I'm gonna actually keep hitting it as long as I can. And as soon as I Phoenix Flames, I can swap over, hit the other one, because, you know, my Ignite spreads when I Phoenix Flames. Yeah, hopefully you can get some good resets here. this might be such a, like that combust. That combust, you have to really recharge for next pull. Like there's a high chance that I'm going to have to use shifting power for cooldown reduction. Because like look at the health on the Prideful, and look at my combust cooldown right here. I might have to use shifting power for the cooldown reduction so that I can combust on pull next pack. Yeah, so we have overall damage right here. The Hunter is actually blasting. Okay, so we got low there, but we do have a Monk, and the Monk actually Touch of Death's the Prideful. I think like Touch of Death is really insane in my opinion. So yeah, this pull, everyone has cooldowns, I'd imagine, so I'm going to use shifting power just to like literally rush my cooldown back and instantly combust. Because this pack is 8 mobs and there's Gargans, right? Gargans are the bears. They actually destroy tanks. So, and look at the space you have around yourself. There's a pack right here and a pack behind you. You are on a time limit to kill this pack. So I thought it was good to just rush my cooldowns back and instantly combust. Yeah, this pack you are on a cooldown. You're on a time limit. Kill this pack, and there's not much. There's actually a lot of these shades here, so this part gets kind of annoying. So I had to use blinks to go there, kite it, and then go back and kite it. Like I'm just trying to kite the shades that fixate me back and forth with blinks. You could use Soul Shape and Alter Time to help kite as well. So this right here is kind of a cooldown reset pull. So yeah, we're just gonna be we see 3 targets. We see 3 targets, so we're going to just be hard casting Flame Strike. Dragon's Breath on cooldown. We'll see the Hound right here get below 30%. So we hit it and we scorch it. Try to stop these rapid fires when you can, because sometimes if they rapid fire in like a very bad location, then it can just it can mess up your positioning and you don't know that you're taking damage, etc. So right here I use shifting power because I want once again I want to rush my cooldown back, because this key is we're kind of blasting this key. So I use shifting power to rush my cooldown back so that my cooldown will be up on pull. I probably didn't have to do it because I didn't think about the Spiteful that comes, the little shades, but I did it just to be safe. So in this pack there's also 3 casters again. So I kick one in, and then I'm going to alter time here when I see the Thrash mechanic, right? So I alter time. You see him in the middle of my screen. That is my weak aura. I alter time so that when the damage is done, I can heal myself. And then there's a lot of casts going off here. So in this pack, there's 2 of the curse dispels, but there's also a magic dispel in this pack. So it's very important that you help dispel. You want to dispel the curse instantly on a pack where there's 2 obliterators and a collector, because the collector puts a magic debuff that only your healer can dispel. And if your healer dispels a curse, he can't dispel the magic debuff, and it can kill you. So yeah, the shard, I'm probably gonna I go into melee to just shifting power on cooldown. So that's why I was in melee. But as soon as he thrashes, I'm blinking out of range so that I'm not taking damage. Getting the little sweet spot of 38 yards, and I'm not taking damage. Yeah, Prideful comes. One thing that's really good about Prideful is if you are in voice with your healer, you want to ask him if you can, if this Prideful is safe in terms of his healing cooldowns, right? Because there's times where if you're in a high enough key, or if it's some kind of progression key, that you might need to use your Combustion Prideful. It all depends on the next pull and if your healer really needs it. It looks like that time we were fine. So this pull is a 3-pack mob pull. This was kind of awkward, but I just decided to hit my Combustion cooldown just to be safe, right? I do my normal AoE combust, shifting power. We stop the pat. We did not want to pull the patrol, I'm pretty sure we distracted it, and then we're going to trap to stop that. I could have polyed to stop the pat as well, but the tank said he didn't want to pull this at the time, so our hunter traps it. The mage could poly it as well. These shades, remember these shades, they actually they kill themselves over time. So when they all spawn, I frost nova them, and we go into the next pack because we don't actually need to be fighting them, right? So in this pack, there's one caster. So you want to keep that in mind, right? You either want to make sure that you are targeting the caster, or he's on your focus, right? Because you want to be contributing to kicks. You want to try to contribute to kicks, especially in between your hard cast, right? Hard casting Flame Strike and trying to kick a mob can get really annoying. So just make sure you find a good time to kick, right? Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, there's shades. Realistically, we should be moving on to the next pack, but you know, these mobs, they actually, if they hit you, it is really bad. So the next pull they wanted to do was the 2 plus the 3. So in this pack, the Houndmaster is the only mob that stands still. The one that's trapped right here. So what you want to do is if these 2 mobs are separated like this, you as a mage, you want to counterspell this cast because you have the longest lockout. So it'll walk into melee and all the mobs will be grouped up. So he gathers the mobs, I kick it for him, and he pulls it over to the Houndmaster. You see this guy, he's shooting, he stands still. So you want to use a kick, maybe two. The Shaman actually uses his kick to help bring the mob into melee. And then, you know, once it's in melee, Mirror's Image, Combust, Shifting Power. Oh, whoops. As soon as that mob is below 30%, you know what we're doing. I think this is Prideful. I think. Or wait, no, it's actually not. This is actually not Prideful. I think we pull one mob, or one of the little gargoyles, and then it's Prideful. So yeah, remember these shades, if they like, look at, that was one melee. That was one melee from a Spiteful. He probably had an absorb up too. Like that was the hunter, that was one melee. This Spiteful mechanic does a lot of damage. Yeah, we need one mob, so we're just like, hey, let's just pull a Stoneborn. Fuck it. I'm pretty sure here, so look at right here. We pulled a single target mob. I know that the next pull is a single target Prideful into a single target boss. What I'm going to do is I'm going to Shifting Power. And I'm going to see how I'm Shifting Power. I'm going to Shifting Power and instantly Combust. So that I put my Combust on cooldown. Because the next 2 pulls are single target. Because it's Prideful in the boss, right? So this dies right here. And I Nova that so that no one has to worry about it. It's just gonna sit there and drain itself to death. And realistically looking back, my Mirror's Image was up, and I should have used my Mirror's Image here. I guess I did use it. Okay, I used it late, but I should have used it on pull because just to have it up the whole duration. But make sure if you don't need Mirror's Image for upcoming aggro, that you use it. This week is Grevious, so Prideful is a lot harder. I promise you, it's so much harder this week. So yeah, my Combust is up in 30. We press Lust here to put on cooldown. I have Shifting Power to get all my stuff back. And then I'm gonna save all my stuff for Combust. Look at my Fire Blast, look at my Phoenix Flames, look at my Combust. And we're just gonna do a standard single target Combust. And we do less this boss because I think the best less in this dungeon are on Fortified, the very first pull, this boss, and then the last boss. So using Lust here, oh, I just hit my mic, I'm sorry. Using Lust here is good. Also, this boss is really annoying. When this boss takes a long time, it's actually really annoying. So we have, our count is 81%, which means we want to skip to the next boss. And your options are, you know, everyone in Vispot, but we have a rogue, so we shroud. Yeah, we shroud here. I think someone actually gets out of our or someone breaks the shroud here. So we had to, you know, someone breaks the shroud, so I make sure I'm just running forward, so I stay out of combat. If anything, I will use invisibility to drop combat, but I did not get combat. So we're chilling here. You know, once he dies, we have a monk, so we can just res him, which is fine. If we didn't have a monk, I would use, you know, like my engineering toys to res him. My combust is coming up right here. So how you want to do this boss, in my opinion, is you want to combust on pull, and then when the ads come in, you want to shifting power for the AoE. You don't want to, like, I don't think you want to save combust to just pad flame strike them. You want to single target down, and then when the ads come out, you will shifting power. You'll rune a power and shifting power to cleave them down. You could throw one flame strike in at the end, but right now we just shifting power to get most of the damage done. I actually forgot to dispel myself here, so this was a mistake by me. I was kind of focused on doing damage, so I did not dispel myself there, which was a mistake. But after this, you're a single target. If you combust on pull, and not to flame strike the first ads, then your combust will probably line up with the next ads. And since no one has cooldowns for those, it's best that you flame strike combusted if you need to, right? So my combust is up right here in 1 second. So I'm just gonna hit the flame strike a bit, try to kick one in. Always look to kick one in, right? I'm helping flame strike them so that we can get them down, because on the first set, the hunter actually had cooldowns. On this set, we don't have cooldowns. Yeah, if you combust on pull, it should be up for the second ad phase. I think me and the healer actually trolled the spell. Both me and him did. But it happens. So, yeah, the boss is below 30%. You can, there's a lot of ads up, but we kind of just want to kill the boss. And I think we have a monk touch of death right there, which actually just destroyed the boss. So in this scenario right here, my combust is very close. And it could always depend on how healthy these mobs are and how fast you think they're dying if you want to combust it, right? Like right now, we're 10 seconds into the pull, and it's like, okay, these mobs, they're kind of living. We binding shot them, so when they're binding shot, I know that I can spam flame circle them. That's one thing that's really good about playing with the hunter, is when you see binding, you can just hard cast in that positioning. So this part I got kind of trolled by kiting, but you can't really blame them because these Gargans, they do so much damage. But I was able to just put my combust on cooldown. I thought it was worth, especially because this pack is harder than the next. The Gargans, the little bears, they do a lot of damage. I don't think they're not actually tankable mobs. So once we kill these last Gargans, or the bears, then it's only gonna be shades, so we can just run forward and let the mobs like kind of just like die over time. Because remember, they slowly die and drain themselves to 0. The tank pulls next pack. I think I'm going to. The healer actually called for a Conjure Refreshment right there, so that's why I did that. But yeah, so right here, I'm gonna like right next pull. Next pull is boss, and this pull is 4 targets. So think about like, okay, I want my shifting power to hit as many targets as possible. So regardless if I combust here, I want to just use shifting power just to hit as many targets as possible. So if this mob is below 30%, There's a lot of mobs below 30%, so we're going to go ahead and do the Scorch thing. Always remember the Dragon's Breath. Yeah, I'm gonna have Combust on pull for the boss, so that will be good. This mob, we should be moving forward, but they weren't moving forward, so I'm hitting it. I'm following my team here. Okay, this boss, I have Combust on pull. Yeah, Mirror's Image before, because why not? And yeah, you just do your standard single target right here. Depending on this boss kill, you might get 1 or 2 combustions. I think in this specific fight, I got 2 combustions. I don't think it's worth to hold your combust in this fight unless the boss is below. How do I say this? Unless the boss is below like 20%ish, or if it's tyrannical, it's a different story too, right? If it's tyrannical, then you probably will just combust because tyrannical has a lot of HP. So I do my single target combust. Also, if you have a Venthyr, this boss dies a lot quicker because of the Venthyr buff in Halls, right? The boss is at 53%. So I'm just gonna. The boss is at 50%, so I'm just gonna I will combust this. I will for sure combust this. Yeah, I do in fact combust this. Just to put it on cooldown. I only had like 2 fire blasts when I started, so I didn't do my double fire blast opener. Because I kind of just I didn't have enough fire blast and I wanted to make sure that I'm pressing it on cooldown. And of course, once it's done, Rune of Power, Shifting Power. We're in X-Key phase. So make sure you can spam a lot of Scorches, spam a lot of Fire Blast when you're in Scorch phase. So the next room I would do a bit differently depending on if your combust is up or not. So if your combust is up right here, what I would do is I would stand in the middle of these 2 packs and then Flame Strike combust each one of these, and then Shifting Power when you're standing right here, it's going to hit both of these packs. This is if you have it up on pull. So you're going to stand right here and Flame Strike combust both of these packs. You can put like 1 Flame Strike here, 1 Flame Strike here, and then Shifting Power. And then just make sure you're throwing Flame Strikes at whatever hits the majority mobs. But my combust is not up on pull. So I'm just going to hardcast Flame Strike on pretty much, anywhere. First thing I do, I put this guy in focus so that if I need to, I can kick him. But right now, I'm looking to charge Combust back. Looking to charge Combust back here. And just spamming Flame Strike with Flame Patch on all ads. Now, when the boss is going to do his next suck ability, it's going to draw all the ads into him. My Combust is up, you see? But when he does his suck, I'm gonna wait for all the ads to come in, and then I'll do a Flame Strike Combust. So all the ads are coming in, it means I'm going to Flame Strike Combust. Shifting Power, just to hit them all, and then yeah, we're just Flame Strike Combusting, and it's going to do actually a lot of damage here. So your 2 options are to combust instantly, and do what I told you before, or wait for the boss to suck all the ads in, and then combust, just like this. And it's gonna net you a lot of damage. And it will also destroy everything, right? So those are your best options. If you combusted on pull, like I mentioned earlier in this room, you could actually squeeze in another combust at the end of this guy, depending on the key, but I combusted halfway through, so I'm probably not going to get that. So I'm just gonna sit on my combust till boss. It's fine though, because in 40 seconds we will have Lust, and we're gonna destroy the boss. And yeah, boss is below 30%, so you're just doing a normal Scorch rotation. So for this Prideful, I do not have Mirror's Image, which means if it gets scary, I should look to use Alter Time because I do not have Mirror's Image. But at the start of this, when that mob dies, I'm going to Nova it so that it's not hitting us, right? I don't have to worry about it if it's Nova'd. Then I had Rune of Power, so I'm just going to hit my Rune of Power at the start of this Prideful. And just be a single targeting normally. Make sure you don't cap on Phoenix Flames charges, which shouldn't be a problem because I have a second one coming right now. Remember, you can always see my rotation right here. And my talent's always up here, etc. So I use my health potion there. I think it's actually better to use health potion on this Prideful than the boss. I don't think the boss is actually that bad, especially when you have an immunity. So yeah, Lust, open, go. This boss is gonna die so quick that I don't know if it's gonna. I don't even know if we're gonna get a second combust, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna power shifting power once it's done. See. Yeah, we're just doing normal single target here. I alter time here. Alter time. So what you should do is you should alter time this first one, and if it's needed, block the second one. If it's needed, I don't think it was needed, so I didn't block personally. But if it is, I would do it. Most of the time, tanks can soak too, but no, we're chilling. I'm just making sure I pay attention to HP. If I need to, I will block, but I'm trying to do damage right now. Because, like, look, my combust just now comes up, right? And the boss dies. So, rather unfortunate there. The boss actually just got kind of destroyed, which, I mean, if the boss lived a little bit longer, I would have done a lot more damage because I would have had a second combustion, but it's all good. I actually got a sick necklace from this. I'm using this necklace right now. So this was actually an upgrade for me. This Haste Mastery into Crit Verse. This was a big upgrade for me. That was pretty cool. So yeah, this was a plus 15 Halls of Atonement. That was this week. My item level was 212. Fortified, Spiteful, Grevious. I would have done other keys, but I want to do more for other dungeons, but I want to do voiceovers of the most recent keys I've done. And this was something I did yesterday with my, most recent gear. And it's also, this week's affixes. So it could be a lot more relevant to do more recent dungeons. So yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. And, once I craft my Arcane Legendary, be expecting those. I'm probably going to jump into Arcane first over Frost, just because I think Arcane is a better spec, personally. I think it's actually way better than Frost. And, that doesn't mean I will not get to Frost, though. So I will for sure be getting to Frost Mage. So, stay tuned to that. And thank you guys for watching. And till next time.